Hi, this is Edward Troxel, and in today's script we're going to look at using a form. So far all the scripts that we have done haven't needed any user input, but if we need to get some input from the user, we're going to have to present a form on the screen to ask for that information. So today we're going to learn how to create a script that contains a form. To create a new project that requires a form, let's go to File, New, Project. This time, instead of choosing a class library, we're going to choose a Windows form. So let's come down here and type in our name. This time we're going to type in test script with form, and then we're going to click on OK. Now it is going through and creating what it needs to create to get everything available for us, and we can see the form listed on the screen here. Let's go in and change a few things. First thing we need to do is go into Properties. Notice here it says the output type is a Windows application. That will not be correct for us. We need to change it to a class library. Next, under Debug, let's do the same thing we did last time, and we'll choose the Vegas Pro 18. So we'll go to C:, Program Files, Vegas Pro 18, Vegas 180.exe. And then we also had to put in our script. This will be -script, and this time it is going to be quote test script with form.dll. Next we need to go to our references, so let's double click there and we will see all the ones that are already added. So we'll click on add reference. Once again, let's just browse, and we will browse to C:, Program Files, Vegas Pro 180, so we're already there. And then we will come down to scriptportal.vegas.dll and add that. And click on OK. So now our script portal is added. And we can close that up. Next thing we want to do is get rid of this program.cs because we will not be using it. So we can just right click it and choose delete. And yes, we want to permanently delete it. I'm going to go ahead and close this window. And let's come down to our Form 1. Let's right click it and choose View Code. This is the code that's there by default. First thing we need to do is add our Vegas using statement. So we'll say using script portal.vegas to the top. Then, as we did last time, let's create our variable here, public Vegas, my Vegas. We're going to have to change Form 1 to input Vegas. So let's put Vegas, and then as our first line here, we will say my Vegas equals Vegas. And then it is going to initialize the form. Here at the bottom, let's create our new entry point. This time we are going to reference the actual form. Then our test script with form.form1, and this is going to be a variable named form. Then we're going to have a public void from Vegas, just like we had before, which passes the Vegas variable. And this time we're going to create a new form. So form equals new test script with form dot form1, and we are going to pass Vegas to that form, which you can see we added right up here. So we added it here, and then we're going to show that form. And that has the basic script done, and then we will be adding more functionality to the script up here at just the same way as we did before. So for this script, what I want to do is put in a place where you can enter a number, and then we're going to use that number to select the region that has that number. First thing I'm going to do is go back to this form design, and we have all of our controls over here. So let's open up this All Windows Forms control. And here we have all kinds of things that we can add to this form. So I'm going to come down here and do a numeric up down and add it to this form. Then I'm going to come and add a label beside it, and let's call this, let's change the text of this label to be region number. And then let's come and add a button to this form, and for this button text I am going to just call that find region. So we will find a region based off of this number. Now you can notice that this button here is called button 1, this label here is called label 1, and this box here is called numeric up down 1. We can go in and change any of those to be whatever name we want to use. So if I wanted, I could come in and change the name of this to something else just by changing the value here. So let's go ahead and change this to UD box for up down box. This is the name that we will use in our code to reference these. So when I come back over here, now I need to figure out what are my minimum and maximum values I can use in my UD box. So let's come in here and we're going to create an integer, and we're going to get the number of regions that we have available in our project. So that will be from myvegas.project.regions, and we want the count of regions. In my up down box, we want the minimum value to be 1, and in the up down box we want the maximum value to be the number of regions. Now before we put everything all in this one subroutine, now we're going to create another routine. What will happen is when the program starts, it will do this and it will set the values for the box, but then it's not going to do anything else until we push that button. So now we have to tell it how to actually work when we push that button. So if we come back over here, we can just double click on this button and it will now add a new routine, and this is what's going to happen when you push that button. I'm going to once again get the number of regions. Now the question is, what happens if there are no regions? If there are no regions, let's check for that. If num regions is equal to 0, then let's display a message box. There are no regions in this project, and we will return. In other words, let's break out of this routine and do nothing else. If there is regions, then let's find the region indicated by the box. So we want a variable of type region. We'll just call that my region equals myvegas.project.regions, and we want the up down box dot value, the value of that up down box -1. Okay, you can see we have some issues here because we have this is underlined in red and this is underlined in red, so there's obviously something happening. So let's look at this one first. This one says that region is ambiguous because system.drawing.region and scriptportal.vegas.region are both valid options, because we have system.drawing up here and we have scriptportal.vegas up here, and they both have a region. So we need to specify exactly which one it is. So in this case I'm going to say script portal.vegas.region, and now it is no longer ambiguous. So let's see what's happening over here. Over here it says argument 1 cannot convert a decimal to an integer. So this is a decimal value and we're wanting an integer value in here. So one way to change this is I can just put in parentheses right here, int, and that will say take this value as an integer, and then we're going to subtract 1 from that because all of our regions are 0 based. So the first region is actually number 0, second region is actually number 1, and so forth. Now that we have the region, let's select that region by putting a selection area around that. To do that, we will go to myvegas.transport, and we want the selection start to equal my region dot position. Then we want to go into my Vegas dot transport dot selection length, and that is going to equal my region dot length. And that should do it. That should put a selection area around where that region is. So let's go in and build and change this to release and build this. We come in here to test scripts, test script with form, test script with form, bin, release. We see all of these extra DLLs along with the one that we actually wanted. So let's come back over here and look at all of our references, and we will look at system link, copy local is false, this one is false, this one is false, this one is false, 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 this one is true, so let's change that to false, that one is false, so that is the only one we needed to change. If we build it again, now they are all gone. So let's fire up Vegas. And let's try running our script. So we go to Tools, Scripting, Run Script. Then we'll go to our test scripts, our test script with form, bin, release, and here is the script that we want to run. And now we have a form here with a place where we can enter a number, and we have the find region. So if we click on find region now, it tells us there are no regions in this project, which is absolutely correct. So now let's close this form and let's select some pictures, and I'm going to cheat a little bit and go to Excalibur and tell it to place a marker at each event, but to create regions instead of markers. And I'm going to create markers. So now I have a bunch of regions on the timeline. So if we go to Tools, Scripting, Run Script again, we can select our script, and here's our form. Now we have an option 1, 2, 3, and we can increase this using the arrows, or we can come over here and we can type in a number. Let's just say 29. I can go to Find Region, and now you can see that this region right here, number 29, is selected. Now I can't do anything with the timeline. If I click anywhere on the timeline, it's going to beep at me because my form is still open. So I need to close the form, and then I can come down here and see that it has selected the area for number 29. As you can see, it is fairly easy to create the form, and as we progress, we will learn how to do various changes to the form, such as change the form name and add other pieces and change other names to get the information that we need. But accessing the form is very simple using Vegas. Please sign up at www.JETDV.com and subscribe on YouTube to get further notifications on when new videos are presented.